to actually change an inner tube. It's amazing how many bikers go out in the world on the roads and get stuck because they do not have a clue how to change an inner tube. This should be Basics 101, but to be honest, it can be as simple as you want, or it can be a bugger. Especially us in the workshop, we can change an inner tube within a couple of minutes, or it could take us half an hour and our knuckles are cut to ribbons. So I'm just going to show you a few tips today how to do this, quite simple, and how to make your life a lot easier. Make sure that you actually have some good tyre levers. Make sure that every bit of air is out of that tube so it gives you as much clearance as possible when you're trying to get those tyre levers in. Your tyre away from the rim of the wheel. This allows you to get your tyre levers in there and also breaks the air gap around the wheel. Always attack the tyre from the opposite side of the valve because you're going to have more room on this side than this side. So start from here. Hopefully you get a nice tyre that you only need one tyre lever and you can get under the rim. As you see, pull over the tyre rim and pull towards you. If you are struggling, as you can see, this may be a 2 lever job. Push one under the rim of the tyre, get the second one and join at the start point and pull all the way around until you start to feel the tyre wall coming away, and just move the tyre and lever around and it should there we go, it's now fully off the rim. Start to unscrew the bolt on your inner tube, and sometimes you can actually get away with being naughty and only taking one side of the tyre off. But with a road tyre especially, it's so tight that you need to take both sides off. Again, start from the opposite side of the valve so you've got more room, and most of the time you can do this with your hands. So just bend back and off we go. And there's your tyreless rim. When you're putting your new tube within the tyre, make sure it's not twisted, because if that twists while you start to pump up, it will explode and you won't be able to hear for about 3 days. Now we need to get the tyre back onto the tyre rim, and again we need to push onto one side so we can get the inner tube sat nicely and then put the final side on. Again, most of the time you can do this by hand with a little bit of brute force. So find your valve, put that through and start to work around the wheel, making sure it's over the edge on all corners. And there we go, it's sat on the rim. Again, just feel around, make sure that the inner tube isn't twisted or caught within the gap between the tyre and the rim. So we're at the final point here now. We've got one side of the tyre sitting on the rim, we've got the non-twisted tube within the tyre, and we push the valve through the actual rim. So don't put the bolt back on there because it limits how much you can actually move, but we're going to start from this side where the valve is, and then we finish on the opposite side where we've got more room to work with. So push the tyre over the wall and start to work round from the top to the bottom. And again, making sure that inner tube does not get trapped in between the tyre and the tyre wall. Start to push round, and as you get to the final stages where it gets really tight, you might need to introduce the tyre levers back into this just to finish off that final bit. Always hold one side and start to work from the other side, because if you do not hold the other side, as you start to tighten this side, it'll start peeling backwards. And final inspection now, we need to make sure that the tyre is sat evenly on the back of the rim on both sides. Make sure that there's no inner tube poking out of at any point. Tighten up your valve nut, pump up to your recommended pressure, and you're back on the road. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.